right, welcome back, everyone, for the third episode in my brand new series called Sneaky Keys. This is just a fun little show that I've come up with to kind of replace in spirit hidden gems to give you a rundown on some books that might sell for a little bit more than you might expect. So these are going to be some things you may or may not be aware of that if you're out there digging in a box, keep these in mind because they might be priced lower than they actually get on the open market. So again, just some sneaky books that you may not be aware of have kind of crept up to the levels that they're at currently. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see this week's selection of Sneaky Keys, I got two groups for you, two groups about 4 or 5 that we're going to run down. Just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so I've kind of narrowed it down how I'm going to present this show, and I'm going to do it in 2 different groups, I think. Maybe we'll even get to 3 one of these days. But for today, we're just going to do 2 different groups, and we're going to first start off with sort of a follow-up to our very first episode of the show where I talked about those Dan Mora Robin covers. I want to now take a look at some of the Dan Mora Nightwing covers because I know it's a different title. It's kind of a byproduct, a little attached to what we did before with the Robin books, but this is a whole different run and there's a whole different selection of books. I'm only going to cover a handful of them. There are a few more that we can get back to at a later date, but for now, let's take a little bit of a look at some of these Dan Mora Nightwing covers. These are B covers, mind you. These are not incentives. These are just the B covers for some of these titles. Starting off first with Nightwing, issue 105. Just classic Nightwing. I love the blue here. It just pops. It's not quite a color bleed. It's not quite a negative space. It's just Nightwing on a blue background. But at the same time, it just looks good. It just looks good. And I'm not the only one who thinks that because people are willing to pay on an average of $37 for this B cover. $37 for this cover here. Again, not an incentive. The 1 in 25s on this run go for less than these B covers, which is kind of astounding to me. But average sales, $37 on this Nightwing 105 B cover. Meanwhile, the current listing prices are looking for about the same. It's like 30 to 40 bucks. So that $37 average is right in line with what people are seeking right now. And just in case you're out there, if you do get lucky, just be aware that there is an incentive for this book that is this same cover art. So keep that in mind as well, that the 1 in 50 is a virgin foil of this cover, and it does pretty well on its own as well. It's a foil virgin cover, same art basically, just with a little bit of tiny bit of trade dress and the barcode removed. And that one does pretty well too. So that's the first one in this run. So we're going to put this one aside, keep it stashed there at the back, Nightwing 105, the B cover, and get on to the next issue in the series, the B cover for issue 106. Again, just good art. I kind of like this view on the fire escapes in the rain on top of a neon light. It's just a really cool image. And it just kind of sets the tone of what a vigilante at night in the city would kind of be dealing with. It's not always Batman on the top of some huge high rise on a gargoyle. This is more closer to the street level that I think is kind of fun and kind of gives you that good Nightwing vibe. This one doesn't do as well as the 105, but it still does all right considering it's just a B cover. It's a B cover that gets you 21 bucks on average. So $21 if you can find one of these in a back issue bin. I mean, granted, I can't say recent cover issue because it is a couple of years old now. I mean, we're now into the issue 130s. So, but at the same time, it might just be out there. Go flipping through boxes. Go digging through boxes. You may get lucky because average of $21. Current listings can go anywhere from 25 to 45 bucks. Again, depending on condition, depending on the seller, they're out there listed for $25 to $45 for this B cover. Now, there's a couple extra little notes on this one. The other covers, whether it be the A cover or like a C cover in some cases, because there are some multiple covers, they're only cover price. So it really is just for this art and this artist that's drawing this, this price. It's not the storyline, as good as the storyline was with the Tom Taylor run. It's not the storyline or any first appearance in this book. It's just due to the cover art. So keep that in mind. So let's file this one away. back in the pile, 105, 106, and now look at, can you guess? That's right. We're going to look at 107 next. And with issue 107, this is sort of a well, I want to say Dick Grayson. I was going to say Nightwing through history because it goes through other characters he's played, including Robin, and he was Batman for a time, as you can see here, going back through in 2023. He's Nightwing. Back in 2009, he was Batman. And we had the red-suited Nightwing back in 2011. You got 2018 down there. Go back to the 1940s. You got old school Robin. You got all the different looks throughout the ages. That's the point. Kind of a fun cover and one that also does pretty well. Again, kind of in the same vein as the 106. This one's averaging $23 on average, with the asking prices pretty close in that $25 to $30 kind of range. So if you can dig one of these out of a box, you're looking at $25 to $30, and maybe you can find this for cover price or less. Just saying. That's kind of the point, again, of this series. Just some books you may not have been aware of that sell for a bit more than you might expect. And if you can go out there and dig for them and find them, you might find yourself a nice little score there. All right, we're going to skip a couple of issues here, and I'll get to in a second why. But for now, we are going to 110 of this run with a big werewolf Batman behind him, cool image on the corner of a building. Again, Dan Mora, he was killing it. He still is killing it over at DC. I'd be interested to see what other characters he can get a hold of. But $21 on average for this one as well, in the same kind of range as the last couple, with 105 being the gem of this bunch. But the rest of these still, 20 to $25 ain't bad for average sales. And that's kind of the asking price too on this one. It's 20 to $25 listed out there. So if you want to go and buy one online, that is, they're looking for 20 to $25. Now, just a quick note, notice the jump. Notice the jump in numbers. So I went from 107 all the way to 110. Why did I do that jump? Well, because for one reason or another, those issues in between don't do quite as well as this group does. But that doesn't mean you should ignore them. So we're going to keep these as one to watch. Or I should say ones to watch, if you will. We'll start off first with one of the ones we skipped here. We're going to go with 108. Pirate style. So you got sort of a Dread Pirate Roberts thing going on here with Nightwing. Still, pretty cool cover. On a pirate ship, it ain't bad. But this one only does about $11 on average. And the next issue, what is it, 109? So that's where we did our jump. We're skipping 108 and 109. They're $11 to $9 on average as far as sales go. And don't worry, I'm going to show you what the other one looks like because we're going to get to that as I show you the listing prices. So $11 for 108, $9 on average for 109. Asking prices, however, on the 108, they're only looking for like $6 to $7 still for now. For now, I say, because look at the price of some of the others. Meanwhile, 109, the asking prices has started to meet the other group. Look, somebody's asking $20 now for 109 with this fighting a kraken or octopus or whatever the heck's going on here. Again, I don't remember reading this run, so I don't remember exactly what was going on during this storyline. So that's why I'm just going off of the cover. And with that cover, you can see here why these two are ones to watch, because they might just join that group. And for now, they may only be listed for making like $10 or $9. They may soon get in that $20 kind of range or more as time goes on. So that's why I got those ones in the one to watch. So that was our little look at the Nightwing Dan Mora room, if you will. Now, before we get into the next room and the next group of books, let's take a moment and remind you guys out there, any of you who need supplies, use my code RENA10 to save yourself 10% off at BCW. Get your bags, your boards, your long boxes, your short boxes, CGC boxes, top loaders, pages for your cards, basically anything you need to keep your comics or collectibles safe. There's probably a product at BCW that you can go and purchase and save yourself 10% off your entire order by using that code RENA10. Save yourself some money. You help out the channel. You really got nothing to lose by doing so. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on over into our next room and look at the next topic I want to cover, which is going to kind of piggyback on my artist retrospective series, which I haven't done in a while, and just focus in on an artist. Just like we just did with Dan Mora, but that was Dan Mora Nightwing specifically. I'm just going to jump around and look at a few Bruce Timm titles here. Again, just a small taste, because this is supposed to be a quicker show, so just a small group for us to cover. Bruce Timm covers do quite well because he does have quite a following. Here's one most of you probably know, so we'll get this one out of the way. Batgirl Adventures #1. Classic image, classic cover, one everybody wants to get a hold of, right? This one always does well if you can find it, and if you can find it for cheap. This is averaging about 44 bucks for this cover alone. Again, it's just for the cover. People love this cover. They want this cover. 44 bucks on average. But meanwhile, the asking prices right now are more in the $55 to $90 kind of range, which is a bit of an increase over what it's been selling for. So keep that in mind as well. Condition sensitive, too. So higher the grade, higher the price, obviously. And just to note, if you were curious what a 9.8 does, 9.8s are $300. So if you can find yourself a really nice copy, maybe consider getting it graded, and it could be 300 bucks. Just saying. All right, let's file that one down and do kind of its mirror image, its sister cover, if you will. Maybe a lot of people don't remember this one, but on Superman, Supergirl Adventures, it's actually Superman Adventures issue 21, but they did kind of a Supergirl cover, Supergirl issue. And as you can see, it's going to mirror that Batgirl kind of with this time a sun instead of the moon, and kind of a similar pose in front of the cityscape, but during the day as opposed to the night. So again, opposites kind of thing. Kind of fun. This one's averaging about the same at about 46 bucks on average for this particular cover. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of these listed, and they can be listed anywhere from $40 to $100. So 40 to 100 bucks for this cover. Also, it's just because it's Bruce Timm. That's what this is for. It's not because it's this Supergirl book or it's first animated this, that, or the other. It's just for this cover. Meanwhile, the 9.8 in this one is about $400. So keep that in mind as well. This one's about $400 for the 9.8 on the Supergirl side of things. But when you put the two together, you can see again, kind of mirror images, right? 300 bucks in a 9.8, 400 bucks in a 9.8. Pretty cool. Now, here's one I've been looking for a while. I have yet to come across in the wild. I've seen it listed online plenty, but I don't want to pay premium online prices because I just don't want to. I'm hoping I'm going to find it one of these days, and one of these days I might. This is also just a B cover. It's not an incentive. This is Gen 13 bootleg number 18. Just a fun kind of beachy cover, almost like it teases being not suitable for work, but it is fine to view here. That said, it is just a B cover. And this thing now, maybe I should have bought one a while ago because it wasn't quite as expensive as it is now. This is averaging $84. 84 bucks for this cover now. It's a B cover, mind you. And listings, I found a couple listed and they want 80 and 90 bucks. So again, that price is it's pretty high right now, and it is pretty consistent, if you will. Now, with that said, we'll take a look at some notes on this one. And just to note the graded copies, again, this isn't the easiest book to find, which is also why it is as pricey as it is. 9.4s and 9.6s, which is also kind of weird that they share price points, but they're both listed for about $400. And that's not 9.8 prices. That's 9.4s and 9.6s. So keep that in mind too. If you have one, maybe you might want to consider getting it graded. Or if you've seen one at your shop and you're like, hey, you know what, it's listed at 50 bucks and it's a really nice copy. It's kind of pricey, but well, if you get it graded, it might be worth doing it. So just things to consider. Now, with that said, we'll file that one away and give you one more Bruce Timm book to talk about here. And this is another series that I am a big fan of. If you can find them, I suggest getting all three, but we're just going to focus in on issue 1 of All Crime Comics. So this has that kind of pulpy look, that vibe. It's kind of a square-bound, thicker kind of cardstock, so it is going to be a little bit of a heftier feel and should hold up pretty well. This book, it's just a fun pulp kind of throwback like look here, right? I mean, this thing, it was only like 10 to 15 bucks a while ago, and then it soon became 20. These days, it's $51 now on average for this All Crime number 1, which kind of surprised me because this was always one that I would go and dig for and hunt for because, again, I liked it and I always knew it was like, hey, it's like 20 bucks if I could find it. Now it's $51. And the average listings on this one is 45 to 80. So again, it's pretty much in line with what's selling is what people are asking for. If not, they're seeking a little bit more these days. People are fishing for a little bit more. That's issue 1. Again, there's 2 more issues in this series. Look for those as well. They don't quite do as well as issue 1. I'm not going to run those covers here in front of you, but I'll tell you that a 9.8 of issue 1 sold for $695. It's almost $700 if you can find one of these in 9.8. And then issues 2 and 3, again, they don't do as quite as well, but they're still 25 to 40 if you can find them. So it is worth looking if you can go and find either of those books. Now, with that said, I thought about making issue 2 and 3 the ones to watch, but I mean, it kind of just goes in line with, with that issue 1. So it's kind of a package deal as far as presentation goes. So I'm going to take a different tact for the one to watch here for the Bruce Timm books and go back to the Batman animated stuff, but not going with the sexy girl covers. As you can see, that's kind of the theme here with the covers that I did and chose for this little selection. They're kind of the girl covers. That's really the focus. That's the draw, the more cheesecake kind of angle. But that's not the only way that these books sell, and it's not the only thing that Bruce Timm does. So one to watch here is this one, this Mr. Freeze, the holiday special for Batman Adventures. It is pretty cool. Mr. Freeze cover. You got Batman. Yes, you do got Batgirl on the cover, but that's not what it's for. It's the Mr. Freeze right here, right? This thing is already averaging $37, but it's just something to keep an eye on because it's not one of those ones you would expect because, again, it's not the sexy girl. But $37 on average with asking prices, $40 to $80 already. And who knows where it'll go from here, but just something to keep an eye on, definitely something to watch. Notice as well that low grades of this book also do well, and they still get $20 to $25 for kind of very good and fine copies with significant damage and, and creases. They still sell. So just something to keep in mind and something to keep an eye out for when you're out there digging in those boxes. Definitely another one to watch. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. Again, this is meant to be kind of a short series, a shorter show. Just cover a few things, run down some books that you may or may not be aware of, and just remind you of some things that are selling a little bit better than you might expect. So with that all said, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you all later with some more content. All right?